Hi, this is a second Captain Tom story. The idea behind these is that Captain Tom falls asleep, and each time he has a dream, and he goes back in history and helps someone, some historical figure or some figure from folklore, and in a sort of a Mr. Ben type way for those who are of a certain age, he uh, he always finds something to remember it by. Anyway, this is my next story. This is Captain Tom meets Robin Hood and his merry men. Captain Tom was tired. He'd been walking today, as he did every day. He'd promised to keep walking round his garden for as long as the people kept donating to his NHS fundraiser. He'd finished his 10 laps for today and was feeling it a bit more than usual, so he'd sat in his favourite armchair and had a cup of cocoa. It always made him sleepy when he had cocoa. He put the mug down on the side table and put his head back, and it wasn't long before he fell asleep. But Captain Tom didn't feel sleepy now. He felt sort of strange. He was standing in the forest for a start. That was strange enough. But he felt young again. He had no walking frame. He was his young self. He felt great. Just as Captain Tom was about to jump for joy, an arrow twanged through the air and hit the tree next to him. "Stand still and present," said a voice from high in the tree. Captain Tom stood still. He didn't fancy being a dartboard for this strange voice. There was movement in the trees. The branches shook and leaves rustled, and suddenly a rather striking young man dressed in green stood before Captain Tom. Bow in hand, he stepped forward. "You are in the presence of greatness," said the young man, "for I am Robin Hood." Captain Tom looked puzzled. "Don't you know who I am?" asked Robin. "Oh, yes," said Captain Tom. "I know who you are, but to be honest, I didn't think you really existed." Robin looked sad and drooped his head. "Not you as well," he said. "It seems no one knows I exist." "Sorry," said Captain Tom. "You don't think anyone knows who you are?" "No," replied Robin. "Myself and my band of merry men, we live here in the forest, and we ambush the evil Sheriff of Nottingham's henchmen as they travel through. We try and stop him and his plotting by stopping the money getting through. It's money he's taken from the good people of Nottingham in taxes and charges. Do you know, he even charges them for having a window and a door." My, said Captain Tom. "That does seem a bit unfair." "Exactly," shouted Robin. "So unfair. Someone had to do something about it, and that's what we do. But no one seems to care." "I don't suppose you'd like to come back to our camp for some refreshment," said Robin. Captain Tom followed Robin back to the camp and was introduced to the merry men, Will Scarlet, Friar Tuck, Little John and the others. While they ate, Captain Tom spoke to Robin, and he explained, "I had an idea where I come from. I wanted to make a difference. I decided I would walk round my garden 100 times and try and raise £1,000 for a very good cause. We call it the NHS. They help people when they're unwell. I hoped people would give money through my efforts." "Well, how would that work?" asked Robin. "If no one knew of you, how would they know to give them money?" "That's just it," explained Captain Tom. "When I started, no one knew who I was. I was just another old ex-soldier among many. But then something wonderful happened, and people heard of my efforts, and soon I was known across the land, the world even. It helped me raise so much more money, but more than that, it filled my heart with good, and it changed my life. Strangers were treating me like I was part of their family. They said that they felt inspired by my efforts. I was held in high regard, and I think people will remember me and what I did long after I've gone." "That would be amazing," said Robin with a tear in his eye. "It is," agreed Captain Tom. "I don't regret 1 minute." "How can I do what you did?" asked Robin. "How can I be remembered long after I've gone? I want children to tell stories of my adventures and I want them to want to be me." "OK," said Captain Tom, realising that Robin wanted fame and fortune slightly more than he wanted to do good. "I have an idea," said Captain Tom. "I think it will give you the fame you desire, but it will come at some cost to you and your men." "Go on," replied Robin. "I'm all ears." Captain Tom laid out his idea. that Robin and his men would give all the money they had stolen back to the poor people of Nottingham and surrounding villages. Every last gold piece. They would live modestly in the forest and make it their work to take from the rich and give to the poor. What? Have you lost your mind? Robin shouted much louder than he meant to. Give away the money? How will we survive? We need the money to buy food and things to help us last in the forest. Besides, if we give it back, the sheriff will just come and take it again. Not straight away, though, said Tom calmly. The people can even hide it if they want to. The sheriff will never know. Robin was shocked into silence. He'd kept the monies hidden, thinking that one day he would ask Maid Marian to marry him and use his share of the money to buy a mansion somewhere. He'd never considered giving the money away. But now this outsider had arrived and made him think. Robin woke the next day, but he couldn't find the outsider, Captain Tom, anywhere. He had his men search the entire forest, but he had gone. Oh well, thought Robin. Men, he started, as he addressed his merry men sitting around in a circle, I've decided we should give all our money to the poor people in the villages. It will be our new way. We will rob from the rich and give to the poor. Children will sing songs about us. People will write stories about us. We will go into folklore and our names will be remembered for all time. Everybody cheered. Thank you, Captain Tom, he said quietly. Meanwhile, back in Marston Moretain, Captain Tom had woken up. He'd fell asleep in the chair again. He'd been dreaming about Robin Hood for some reason, but it seemed really real. Captain Tom could almost smell the forest air. He stood up to go to bed and put his hand in his dressing gown pocket. What's this? He said, and pulled out some acorns and a handful of leaves. Well, I never, Tom said. Maybe it was real after all. The end.